Eddie Murphy is one of the highest-grossing actors of all time, and the legendary comic's biggest movies have earned billions of dollars after inflation. Murphy got his start as a cast member on Saturday Night Live, where he would be the biggest star during one of the show's darkest periods. He quickly jumped to movies, and the rest was history. Murphy's star potential was on full display in films like Beverly Hills Cop and 48 Hours, and he was box office gold throughout the 80s. Though he hit a snag in the 1990s with a few flops, his career rebounded when the new millennium rolled around. The aughts would be his most lucrative period, before he faded away again. Murphy has largely been out of the spotlight for the past decade, though his return in Dolomite Is My Name suggested a resurgence was imminent. The Netflix documentary, Being Eddie, also hints at a grand return, but there's no telling if Murphy will ever reach the box office heights he enjoyed in the past. The Nutty Professor, 1996, $574 million. Showcasing Murphy's ability to play multiple characters like his idol, Peter Sellers, The Nutty Professor reimagined the classic comedy. Murphy plays a scientist who creates a formula that allows him to lose weight, but the side effects are too much to handle. Mixing lowbrow humor with heart, the film is a 90s comedy classic. Financially, the film soared when it made over $500 million after inflation, via Box Office Mojo. It was enough to spawn a sequel, though it failed to match the original's quality or success. The Nutty Professor's box office boon arrested a downward spiral for Murphy at the box office, and began another golden period that lasted into the aughts. Dr. Dolittle, 1998, $590 million. Remaking The Nutty Professor worked quite well, so Murphy once again starred in a classic comedy remake in 1998's Dr. Dolittle. The iconic funny man plays a doctor who suddenly gains the ability to talk to animals, but it is more of a curse than a blessing. Murphy is stellar as always, but not all of Dr. Dolittle's edgy humor lands. Audiences were ready for more Eddie Murphy when they pushed the film to a $590 million box office Mojo, by modern standards. In a year with juggernauts like Titanic, a holdover from December '97, Dr. Dolittle still managed to be the sixth highest grossing movie of the year. Even its 2001 sequel was a smash hit. Mulan, 1998, $609 million. Coming at the tail end of Disney's famed renaissance, Mulan brought Chinese folklore to life in the studio's signature animated style. Playing the supporting role of Mushu, Murphy showed off his voice acting skills that would serve him well in the coming years. With stunning visuals and great music, Mulan was a unique addition to Disney's canon. Since Disney was riding high in 1998, Mulan was a smash to the tune of $609 million in today's money, Box Office Mojo. Despite its success, Mulan couldn't hold a candle to many of Disney's other hits, and it fell somewhere in the middle. Murphy's presence certainly helped, but he would have greater success in animation in a few years. Coming to America, 1988, $800 million. Often regarded as one of Eddie Murphy's best movies, Coming to America is a quintessential part of the actor's catalog. Murphy plays a spoiled African prince who decides to go to the United States and marry someone he truly loves. Coming to America has everything a great Murphy film should, including multiple Murphy characters, goofball humor, and tons of heart. It was also released at a time when comedy was reaching its peak, so it made the equivalent of $800 million, Box Office Mojo. Though Coming to America is a charming comedy, there's no denying that Murphy's star power propelled it to nearly billion-dollar status. Its long-awaited sequel wasn't released theatrically, so it didn't have a box office. Beverly Hills Cop 2, 1987, $806 million. Sequels to blockbusters often do better than their predecessors, but Beverly Hills Cop 2 saw a decline in revenue. Murphy's iconic Axel Foley returns to Los Angeles to bust a series of crimes involving a gang. Clearly inferior to the first movie, Beverly Hills Cop 2 still has a lot to offer in terms of laughs and thrills. It's hard to call a movie that made the modern equivalent of $806 million, Box Office Mojo, a disappointment, but it did cost a bit more than its predecessor. Regardless, Beverly Hills Cop 2 was the highest-grossing movie of 1987 by a wide margin, and one of only 3 films that broke the $100 million mark the entire year. Shrek, 2001, $912 million. Shrek can be considered the first defining family film of the 2000s, and it set the course for the decade. Appearing as trusted sidekick, Donkey, Murphy lends his voice to the irreverent romp involving an ogre who must rescue a princess. Murphy's chemistry with Mike Myers really sells the film, and Shrek is still unique to this day. As Disney faltered, DreamWorks picked up the mantle and grossed $912 million, Box Office Mojo, in today's money. Interestingly, Shrek was the lowest-grossing film in the entire franchise, despite nearly crossing the billion-dollar mark. Its success wasn't just financial, but the charming kids' flick got amazing reviews as well. Beverly Hills Cop, 1984, $1 billion. Though Murphy had appeared in films before, Beverly Hills Cop was without a doubt the movie that launched him into megastardom. He leads the film as a streetwise Detroit cop who travels to Los Angeles to crack a personal case. With action and many laughs, Beverly Hills Cop has something for every kind of viewer. The film was an overnight sensation and grossed $1 billion, Box Office Mojo. Because it was released in December of '84, the bulk of its revenue came the next year. However, Beverly Hills Cop would have been the highest-grossing film of the year, beating blockbusters like Ghostbusters and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Shrek Forever After, 2010, $1.1 billion. After Shrek 3 ended on a sour note, Shrek Forever After saw a tiny drop in its box office take. Donkey returns alongside Shrek, who begins to feel domestic blues after several years of marriage. Originally intended to be the ending, Shrek Forever After is surprisingly heartfelt for a movie about a cartoon ogre. The dip in quality between Shrek sequels did little to dim their appeal, and Shrek Forever After made the equivalent of $1.1 billion, Box Office Mojo. Murphy took a small step back in the focal, though Donkey does still feature prominently. In the aughts and early 2010s, Shrek was a money-making machine that couldn't be stopped by lackluster sequels. Shrek the Third, 2007, $1.2 billion. After 2 hits, it only made sense that the lovable ogre would return again in Shrek the Third. In the third installment, Shrek is suddenly the heir to the throne, and he wants nothing to do with his royal duties. Lacking the emotional hook of its fellow sequels, and without any humor to speak of, Shrek the Third fell flat. The success of the first sequel bled into Shrek 3, and even its poor quality couldn't keep it from grossing $1.2 billion in today's money, Box Office Mojo. However, it caused a ripple effect which shrank the box office for the fourth film. Nevertheless, every Shrek movie did incredibly well, and they continued Eddie Murphy's aughts hot streak. Shrek 2, 2004, $1.6 billion. Shrek might have been a monumental success, but Shrek 2 performed even better at the box office a few years later. Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona head to far, far away to meet Fiona's overbearing royal parents. A natural continuation of the